American Wagyu, is it real? Wait, I thought it only came from Japan. So, check it out. I get this question all the time. Let's talk about it. Let's break it down. The common misconception is that Wagyu only comes from Japan. So, yes and no, okay? The genetics do, absolutely. So yeah, the genetics come from Japan, but a ton of Wagyu beef is being raised in the United States. So trust me, we talk to tons and tons of Wagyu ranchers here in the United States. So let's kind of talk about why it's about genetics and not geography. And hopefully by the end of this, you'll understand that American Wagyu is real. It's not a scam. Okay, the origin story of Wagyu. So Wagyu actually translates to Japanese cow. Okay, the wa translates to from Japanese, the gyu translates to cow. So it actually means Japanese cow. And there's 4 breeds of this cow. There's the Japanese black, the Japanese red or Akaushi or brown. It's all the same thing. It's just called the Akaushi. So you got the black, the Akaushi, the Shorthorn, and the Pulled. Now, the black, you see a lot of that meat coming over here from Japan. That's probably 95% of what you see in the United States. A little bit more, a little bit of the Akaushi. We're seeing that a little bit more now. It's actually coming through a little bit more, and we don't see too much of the Pulled and the Shorthorn. So any of that like A5 crazy marbled Wagyu beef that you might see in your Asian grocery stores, you see, that's probably going to be the Japanese black. Okay, but in the 70s, 4 bulls came over here, okay? Came over from Japan to the United States. I think illegally. Some people say it wasn't. Probably was. They got kind of like smuggled over here. And we started creating an F1 cross breed of Wagyu. So the F1 cross means that it's 100% daddy cow and a Wagyu, and then something that we have over here like an Angus or a Hereford or a Jersey cow. So it's 100% Wagyu genetics mixed with something else. Okay, so that means that it's 50% Wagyu genetics at the end of the day. So that's the F1 cross. So we've been breeding F1 crosses in the United States since the 70s and 80s, maybe even sooner than that, but that's kind of when it was like actually documented. So they've been here for a little bit, but in the 90s, actually this it was a real crew went over to Japan. They like legally exported some Japanese mommy cows and daddy cows actually back to the United States. Jerry Reeves, our good buddy from Bar R Wagyu, was one of the people on the committee over there. So since the 90s, we've had like traceable genetics, and we have been building and breeding Wagyu cows in the United States. Okay, so there's the Fullblood Wagyu, which in the United States means that it's 100% Wagyu genetics. So it has a full blood traceability, so 100% daddy cow genetics, 100% mommy cow Wagyu genetics, all the way down the line. So if you see that there's a full-blood Wagyu cow, in the United States right now, it'll actually be traceable back to Japan through its mom and dad, the lineage, all the way back to Japan. All right, and I'm saying mom and dad, but I'm trying to make this easy for you guys to understand. So there's the full-blood Wagyu. There's a purebred Wagyu, which means it's about 93.75% Wagyu genetics. So that means it's somewhere from the 90s to today that it's been crossbred with something that wasn't Wagyu, but it's mostly Wagyu genetics. So you're still going to get that high marbling, that beautiful, beautiful buttery flavor. And then we have the F1 cross, which I explained was 100% full-blood mommy or daddy cow, and then 100% full-blood other, or 100% American cow. Okay, so you get the 100% full-blood Wagyu and like an Angus. That would be a great example of like a F1 cross. So like I said, those have been in here since the 70s. But every single Wagyu cow should be traceable back to Japan. You can see all of its lineage all the way back to Japan. So that's why it's about genetics and not really about where it's raised. It doesn't matter where it's living at. It matters about what's inside. What are the genetics? So how is American Wagyu different from Japanese Wagyu? So it's raised differently. We'll say that just because of geography. All right, we have a lot more space, a lot more plains, grasslands in the United States than they do in Japan. But also, it's raised for a different consumer. So the Japanese like to eat this really smaller portions, 2 to 3 ounces of some really highly marbled, amazing beef, and that's great. And they'll cut it up in thin slices and cook it in different ways and put it in different entrees and things like that. But Americans really love to eat steaks, right? We love to eat big, ginormous steaks. So it is bred for a different consumer, because we want to eat that 10, 12, 16-ounce steak, and you can't eat that eating that A5 marbled steak from Japan, okay? If you try to eat 16 ounces of that, man, you just make yourself sick. So the U.S., farmers, ranchers, they're creating something that is going to be, really consumable for the American consumer in the American diet. So I don't think, that American Wagyu is trying to be A5 Wagyu. I've seen some that is really close. We just judged some at the American Wagyu Association. Some of that stuff looked like A5, and that was cool for a bunch of Wagyu nerds out there trying to, find out what the craziest beef is. But for the normal person going to a grocery store, a lot of those people aren't going to want to eat A5 in the United States, okay? It's too small of a portion. They want maybe something a little bit bigger. So I believe the American Wagyu ranchers are creating something for the American consumer. It's going to be a little bit larger of steaks. It's not going to be as marbled, but there's different varieties as well. Like we talked about the F1 cross, which is going to be like a pretty nice prime, over prime. You're going to have a purebred, which is going to be even more marble than that. You're going to have a full blood that is going to be way off the prime charts. It's not going to be able to measure it. So, like I said, not trying to be A5. It is different the way that it's raised. We have a lot more space to raise more. Americans want to eat steaks. They don't want to eat 2 to 3 ounces of beef at a sitting. So that's where I think you see it varies. I think a lot of people might say, oh, well, the American Wagyu doesn't look like Japanese Wagyu. Well, some of it does. I've seen some of it that really does. But most of it, yeah, it doesn't, because most Americans don't want to eat that day in and day out. So yeah, when you hear American Wagyu, don't roll your eyes. It's not a gimmick. It's not a marketing scam like we hear all the time. It really is it's an evolution of some of the best breeds being raised here in the United States, okay, for the American consumer. So when you say, when I say that the F1 cross and the purebred and full-blood Wagyu, they actually have the same genetics as A5 Wagyu. And not to say that some, that all Wagyu cows are the same as far as the genetics go and the marbling, the predisposition of marbling. No, some of them are far superior than the other ones. But they do have the Wagyu genetics in there when we're talking about the F1 cross, the full blood, the beer that's raised in the United States. Trust me, we talk to so many ranchers all over the United States. We talk to people all over the world. I was just talking to someone in Australia about their Wagyu. We meet people from Japan coming over here that are learning about how we raise American Wagyu, and we can talk to them about how they raise Wagyu in Japan. So stick around on this channel. We talk a lot about Wagyu beef. We're trying to bust some of those misconceptions and really get you guys to maybe have a more open mind about it, try it, and realize that you don't have to spend $200 to $300 on it, okay? You could have a great F1 cross skirt steak, okay, that might cost you $20 a pound, $25 a pound, okay? It might be more than conventional beef, but it's an amazing steak, and it's not going to break the bank. So that's what we're really trying to get everybody to understand. So stick around, keep watching these videos, stay meat curious, and if you got any questions, leave them in the comments, and hopefully we can answer those. All right?